Okay, from this video on, we are going to the simulate menu. Explain first emitter, then these settings, then forces, then taking particle, then going to a hair system. Interesting. First, we explain the emitter. This is an emitter for emitting particles. Set the emitter. This is a simple box. Okay, this is a simple box. We have some tab, basic, coordination, coordinate, particle, emitter, and include. First, explain with the particle. Okay, first, set the frame. You have to play, always play to see the particle and simulate. Make it a higher number of the frame, 500 is nice, and always play it. And as you can see, these are particles that are emitting from that emitter. Nice. And as you can see, they are start emission and then stopping the emission and then disappear. So let's explain what are they. First, the first thing that you need is a particle. You can assign any object to the emitter. I assign a cube to the emitter. Insert a cube, make it smaller to better seeing that. Nice. And because this is a green common, you have to make a child object, make a child of that. As you can see, nothing happened because the first thing that you learn is this show objects. You have to active show objects, and after that you can see your object that emits. So you can emit any object in emitter. Interesting. Okay, let's make it bigger. So as you can see, the birth rate, the birthing of the particles in a viewport and a render. If you have a not good resources in your PC or system for, and sometimes we have a lot of particle, you can change the emitting birth, emitting the object in a viewport. For example, make it a half in a viewport and then plate. And as you can see, we have a fewer object here. Nice. But as you can see, imagine it. But if you go to the, I think we have to go to the picture viewer. And as you can see, we have more particle in the rendering picture viewer because it's 10, but it is a half in viewport. So in this case, you can better handle your particle in a viewport. Okay, so be careful about the burst rate in the render because it's in the final output. This is if your PC is not powerful, use a lower number here, but don't forget to make it the higher number in your render. So we make it both in this render. This is then just the burst rate in a viewport, and if you want to more object to birth, you can make it a higher number. Don't forget to make it equal exactly to the render. So as you can see, you have to play. You have to go to the back to reset your particle. Okay, this is our particle, and you can change your size of your object here. Nice. So this is about the birth rate in a viewport and render. And what about the visibility? Sometimes we want to animate the birth rate in a viewport and a render. As you can see, we have to always go to the start, go to the start, go to the start. So practically, you cannot animate the birth rate. Instead of that, we have a option called visibility. It is actually animating the birth rate with the visibility. How many particles do you want to visible? So first, I want to 100%. It means it's exactly 20 birth rate. It's 100. Keyframe it. See here. For example, if we reach to this frame, we want to make it half. Make it a 50% and keyframe it. And now you can, as you can see, we have high dense, and after that frame, as you can see, we have lower dense of your particle. You can make it, or for example, if you reach this particle, this frame, you can make it a very low number that you can better see the birth rate. And then this is 5% of this number. Okay, as you can see, we have 100%. After that, half, and after that, lower number. So you can control the birth rate of your with visibility. Nice. And you can select and delete the keyframe. Okay. Nice. Let's go to other settings. A start emission. It means if it is in a 0 frame, it's starting the emission from the 0. If you want to start creating the particles from this, for example, 50 frame, if you play, we have no, and after that, we are emission. This is in a start emission in that frame. So always make it in a 0. Sometimes we don't need it. A stop emission in this frame. As you can see, 115 is about here. As you can see, if you reach this frame, it's here. And after that, stopping the creating the image. As you can see, it's stop. So if we have 100 frame, if you want to emission to the end of your frame, you can make it exactly the frame of here. So it's emitting to the end your project, your frame. This is all about your end your project. Seed is actually a random effector for changing the pattern of the emitter. If you hold 2 emitter here, for example, as you can see, if you copy that, the pattern, as you can see, the pattern of the emitting is exactly the same, right? As you can see, the pattern of the emitting, look at this image, the cubes, the pattern of the emitting is exactly looks like that. But if you change the seed to any number that you want, go to the first frame, and as you can see, the pattern of the positioning of the particles are different. So the seed is for changing or randomizing the pattern of the particle that we're emitting. The interesting thing is relative speed. You can change it. I go to the here and learn it. It's very easy. Go to the tag, animation tag, a Viber tag. I want to change the animation of the emitter in z-axis. So we create a enable position and in a z-axis in this number, high number. And as you can see, the emitter is changing its position in z-axis, but the speed of the particle does not change because they are absolute in a speed. Absolute in a speed, it means here, the speed that you define here. But if you want your speed of your emitter is become a relative to a speed of the emitter, you can turn the speed on. And as you can see, if you turn the relative speed, the speed of the particle, it goes in any direction that the particle is moving. Sometimes it's very useful. So relative speed is relativing the speed of the particle to the speed of the changing the position of the whole emitter. And as you can see, if you turn it off, the particle just go in this direction. So it's affecting the direction of the particle. Interesting. Okay, we go to the tag and turn it off, for example. Now we don't change it. Okay, it's not relative. Lifetime is very important. As you can see, the lifetime is very higher number than our frame. For example, change the lifetime at 150, and as you can see, let's see, if we reach this frame, the particles are disappearing. This is all about the lifetime. You can make it this number. And after that frame, our particles are disappearing. Nice. This is all about the lifetime. Make it a higher number if you want. This is a lifetime. Variation. This is a randomized for a lifetime. And as you can see, some particles are disappearing sooner or later that frame. It's a variation of that. Speed. This speed is, for example, in this number, millimeter per second. If you need more speed, you can change the speed, the higher number, as you can see. You have to go to the first, and as you can see, we have more speed of particles. This is not speed. This is a variation for your speed of your particle. Rotation. It's very interesting. If you change the rotation, see it? As you can see, you can rotate your particle, and they are rotating. Individual particle. It's rotating individual particle in any degree that you want. Good. And this is a variation. If you set it to the 0, whole particle are uniformly rotate. But if you change the variation 100%, they are random on the rotation. Nice. Nice. Okay. And end scale. If you go here, I changed it to 0. End scale. It is 1. It means the scale of the particle from a start emission to the, as you can see, to the end life, and make it to the end life does not change. But if you change the end scale to the, for example, 0, as you can see, the particle is going to the 1 to the 0 to the end of their life. If you want to make it double, they are doubling its scale if the, as you can see, the particles reach the end of their stop emission or end life. It's the end life, actually. Any frame that you set in the lifetime, as you can see, they are go, and after that they're disappearing because of the end life. So it's the variation for end of. For example, if it's to the 0 in this direction, if you make it a variation, as you can see, some particles are smaller than. It's a variation above the scale. Nice. And tangential. It is interesting. Okay, going to the vibrate tag, instead of the angle to rotation, the 90 degree, for example. As you can see, it's vibrate the rotation of the particle. As you can see, the emitter is rotating, and any individual particle are rotating relative to the emitter. But if you don't want this, you can turn the tangential. It means if you first, as you can see, the rotation, if the rotation of the individual particle does not change, and for example, if this particle is birthing from this direction, it's go continuously at that direction that it's created. It does not change. But if you turn it off, as you can see, the individual particle are rotating. It's nice if you change the rotation of your emitter. Don't forget that. And this is a render instance. If you have very high dense and quality, high dense particles, go to the Viber. It's there above the instances in render. Let's make a lighter scene for your render. Another tab, it's all about changing the size of the emitter. As you can see, you can change the size of your emitter in X and Y axis if you want. Nice. Okay, and the emitter type is in pyramid or the coin. You can change the angle rotation of that. Okay, first, let's begin with pyramid. It's as you can see, if you go to the coin, the vertical angle is turned off because you can go to the 2D. And then it's all about angle, horizontal and vertical. Let's see if I emitting and change the angular rotating to 90. Nice. As you can see, the angle of the emitting is exactly in 90 degree in a horizontal. See? Nice. Make it at a 0, but you can make it vertical in this direction. It's better to seeing that, for example, 118, it's 0. You can see it better here. from the top view. This direction, it's all about because of the fiber you can make it. As you can see, there are shading. As you can see, they are emitting in a horizontal angle in 180. Nice. Imagine this line. It's emitting in this angle. Nice. You can better see it 2D. Going to make it at the 0, right click, go to the first, and change the vertical angle to 180. As you can see, it's changing in this angle. See? Nice. So, in a pyramid, you can change the angle of the emitting in 3D. Nice. But if you change the coin, it's disappear, it's disable, and in the angle horizontal, you cannot go to 360. Okay, you can, if you go to the pyramid, you can go, for example, 316, and it's just circular. Nice. As you can see, you can create emitter in circular. But if you go to the coin, you cannot go this angle more than 19. It's better see if you have in 45. If you play it, imagine a coin. This is a coin. Imagine a coin. Look at this. You can see the emitting is like a coin. So you can change the coin angle. This angle horizontal is the coin angle. If you want to wider coin, you can see it. So the limitation I think is 45. Is nice to better see that. If you set it to the 90, it's emitting in this direction, but it's a 45 is this exactly like a coin. So this emitter tab is all about the emitting shape. Nice. Okay, let's see to another tab. It's include tab. It's set default in exclude. Why is that? Because if you the emitter is relative to the forces. If you insert the forces, for example, rotation, the forces. The forces in a Cinema 4D does not, you don't need to assign them to anything. Because if you bring it in a scene, it's affect all commands that accept the forces. It's move spline, it's emitter, it's cloud simulation, any dynamic simulation in Cinema 4D is accepting the forces, and if the forces affect them, so you don't need to assign to them. So, for example, we have two emitter here. As you can see, we have two emitter, and we does not drag and drop forces to any tab, any field. It's immediately affect, as you can see, it's rotating. It's immediately affect the emitters. But as you can see, I explained them in the next lessons. But as you can see, the position of the rotation, imagine it's the rotation forces in rotation whole emitter in the scene. But so as you can see in emitter number 1, we don't have any assigning something. But it's the important tab here is exclude. It means, okay, I just want these forces affect emitter number 1, not this emitter number 0. So go to the emitter number 1 and drag and drop rotation forces in this tab and exclude. It means, okay, the rotation does not affect this emitter. As you can see, it does not affect this emitter, just affect this. So because of the forces, if you insert in a scene, it's affected whole comment in a Cinema 4D. So they create the include tab that you have to, it's by default in the exclude, that you can exclude that forces from your emitter, from the class simulation or any comments. Okay, this is an emitter. It's interesting, and after that we're going to the other comment, and after that we give you a lot of example that you better understanding the simulations. Hello, my friends. To continue these tutorials on YouTube, subscribe us, like us, and hit the bell icon. And now you will be alerted about all of the amazing videos that we release.